Hi guys, welcome back to Live Like Lo. This is Lo, and today we're going to be talking about how you can plant sit. And I don't mean babysitting. I mean talking to the spirits of plants. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Do this is because this is going to be the best daily practice. Okay? Let me say it again. This is going to be the best daily practice that you can use to do this all the time. To do this all the time. Are we ready now? Okay, let's do it. Okay. So, first, I'm going to give you guys the basic meditation because I feel like if you don't have the basic meditation, none of this matters, okay? So basic meditation, you sit next to your plant. Hi, plant. Okay, my plant is like, I would like to be used. Sorry, guys, I have a bunch of stuff right here. Alrighty, hello, this is my plant. She's recently been cutting back, so she's kind of like growing out a little more. But this is my pothos. Me and her talk often, but she just likes hanging out because I'm by the window. So this is my pothos. Now, what I would do if I wanted to do this plant sitting is I would sit next to or put her on my desk, and I would get very close within the energy realm of this plant. Then I will set the intention. Hello, beautiful. I would like to speak to you and see if you have any wisdom for me. So first I'm going to ask, would you like to speak with me? Yes or no? Close your eyes. And you'll receive a yes or a no. Okay? Now that you're in, because this is kind of like a meditation, but it's going to feel like trance work. Okay? Like you're in a trance, not a trance. Okay? So it's going to feel like trance work, but what you're going to do is ask the plant a question. Then you're going to stay silent in your mind and wait for the answer. The first answer is usually the answer, okay? If you start to like question, you'll irritate the plant and it won't want to talk to you anymore. Just like anybody else who's trying to talk to you and then you're trying to be like, but I think you mean, and it's like, bitch, I didn't mean that. Okay, so now you have this plant and you're like, hey, would you like to work with me? It says yes. Cool. So now you're like, I would like to receive any wisdom that you have. The plant says, are you sure, or do you have anything specific? And you may say yes or no, okay? So then you ask the plant, well, how is it that you can help me? Now, this is going to be an example, guys, because the golden pothos is a plant that is a air filtering plant. So there are several ways that I can receive a message on how this plant can help me. I can get congested in my nose, which I'm currently experiencing. I can get congested here where I feel like I need to cough because it filters the air. It makes breathing easier. So a lot of these things will be lung related. It may feel harder for me to breathe, okay? All of these experiences, this is how the plant can help me. And this is how the plant will receive. Now, some people will receive a audible understanding of it. They will receive a physical understanding of it or an energetic understanding of it. Some people will also receive clairvoyance. So it depends on what clairs you have available to you to really receive this information. Some people use flash images of how to be used. Some people receive like using the information you have in your mind, and it kind of pulls from your own personal knowledge and it organizes it in a way that you wouldn't have thought about it. And there you go. So say, for example, if I ask the plant, what is the wisdom you have to give me? And then the plant says, it takes my knowledge of clean air, of trees, and how trees give off air, and how when talking to a plant, it receives the carbon dioxide from me and converts that into oxygen for me, creating a cycle of life within the area. Then I am talking back and forth to the plant. The plant is talking to me and saying, okay, so this is how it works. This is the cycle in which I can help. Now, specifically, I am able to clean said toxins, and these toxins create said results. So I may feel in my body the results of the toxins that it filters. Not forever, guys, just for this moment while talking to the plant, okay? So I hope that makes sense, just like how to receive or how you might receive the information from the plant. You can sit and talk to the plant for as long as you like. Sometimes the plants will see that you're getting agitated or antsy. Hold on, I'm being asked to just put her back in her place. They can get agitated or you could start getting agitated and antsy because you're just sitting somewhere very still for a long period of time. And so the plant will tell you it is time to take a break. When a spirit tells you to take a break, please do take a break, because those breaks do give you time to digest what was given, time to see what was given and interpret it for your own personal understanding. Okay? So now we're going to move forward. Now, what I will say is make sure that you have a journal so that you can write down what the plant tells you immediately after or during, if you receiving a lot of information, to write down with the plant. Now, it's my personal thing is like, if you are writing while the plant is speaking, it's okay to ask the plant to slow down or to give you information chunk by chunk so that you can have the time to cultivate the language to writing it on paper, okay? Because the way a being is explaining something to you is typically the way that you should write it down. Because when a spirit is speaking to you in your own language, they're not speaking to you layman's terms. They're speaking to you in a coded understanding of knowledge. So the way that they're saying it to you is encoded with multiple understandings of the same knowledge. So you can get a shit ton of information and you can get a shit ton of understanding by copying what was said and not trying to interpret it through your own lens of awareness at that specific time, right? And it makes it a lot easier too. So if you just write down what's being said, then when you come back later with a fresh mind and a fresh head, a few days later, you can look at that information and you can see the hidden knowledge that you didn't necessarily receive during the meditation, okay? So here we go. These are the last points, okay? Fresh. When you're doing garden fresh, anything, I don't care if you're doing a spell, if you're doing a ceremony, if you're doing herbal medicine, okay? When you're using a fresh plant that is in the ground or pot, okay, you want to start early in the morning, go to the plant. You want to set the intention that you are guided to pick the best parts of the plant for the part of your ritual and give gratitude in the time of doing it. Thank you for your sacrifice, or thank you for giving me what I need in order to create this working or to create this medicine or to create this healing. Because what that does is it soothes the anxiety of the plant, and it also gives them an understanding of why and what you're doing, as well as when you're cutting the plant, you're also infusing, because you're touching it, you're infusing it with your own energy as you cut the plant. You're cutting it from its original source and you are holding it in your hand and creating something energetically with your own energy. So you want to make sure that your intentions are right and you're not in a fucking bad mood, okay? Now, 2, you want to, when holding the mental intention, just make sure that you hold that gratitude. It's so super, super important, right? When you're taking early morning cuttings, it's important, especially for medicine, mostly medicine and spells, that you take these cuttings within the first 4 hours of sunrise. Why? Because that's when the plant is the most potent, has the most potent chemical constituents. If you are looking to do something that is very aromatic, the aromatics are there, the antioxidants are there, the nutrients are there, okay? Throughout the day, these can wane because of any environmental things that are going on that day, any just, if the sun's beating down them, they're wilting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So doing it early and doing it before it gets hot as shit is good, okay? Then we want to make sure that after we've set our intentions while we're picking our plants, the intention picking leads you to picking the best possible material. So lead with your intention. When you pick a plant, are you just picking, you're just snipping everything? Or are you looking at it and you're saying, I feel that I need to cut this branch, these flowers on this row, these things on this place, right? And making sure that you're picking in that way. And what that also does is it allows the plant to have the less desirable material for your working for its personal growth, and that it can continue to flourish and it continue to grow, that you don't reap all of the rewards of that plant just because you want to, but you're reaping certain rewards from the plant for your desired intention. And you can do this even if you're growing food, if you're gardening and you're picking, certain things off the branches. Not every tomato is picked because you want the seeds. Not every cucumber, not every squash, not every collard green. Well, collard greens you pretty much can pick because they're leaves. Eventually you're gonna have to pull the leaves out the ground. But not every flower, when the collard greens are flowering, will be picked for medicinal uses or for edible uses. You're going to let those plants go to flower. Not everything is going to be cut away for more leafy gain. Some of them you're going to let go to flower so that you can receive the seeds and the new generation of seeds for next year's planting, right? So just know that there is a cycle to this. And even when foraging, you want to do the same. You want to intuitively pick, but not pick everything, because you need to leave some for the plant to do its own thing, to reproliferate in the environment. Got it? Good. Okay. It is also advised that if you are foraging and you find seeds among the plants and you have no use for them, to go back to the area in which you found the plant and give the seeds back as a gratitude offering back to that part of the land. So say, for example, you came in, you picked some flowers, and the flowers that you had were great, but then you have extra materials that you took from the plant that aren't usable, or you had seeds from the plant that weren't usable. To bring those plants back to the area in which you forested, or back to an area that it can proliferate, and to spread those cuttings, spread that plant material for the decomposition and the refertilizing of that land, or to spread the seed so that more plants can be. Some people prefer to actually, say for example, I don't have like a small cup, but if you had like a small cup and then you put the seeds and you planted them to make little plantlings, and then when they got so big, you took them back out to the forest as an offering and planted them in particular places just to give thanks and restore that balance. You can also do that. It's up to you and the amount of work that you want to do. Okay. Now with dried plants, okay, y'all, I'm getting tired, but with dried plants, here we go. With dried plants, what you want to do is you want to experience the plant material with all 5 senses plus 6. So this is the way I'm going to, the reason why I say 5 is because one of the senses isn't available unless you use your 6th sense with it. Okay, so the most important thing to understand is intellectually and personally, the plant's capabilities and attributes. Now, before you're doing the meditation, you don't have to do this, but it is important that you confirm them after doing this meditation and receiving things from the plants. Not only does that give you the intellectual understanding, but it also fortifies and confirms your spiritual intelligence, that you're being correct. Some things won't always line up. Like, for example, mullein. Mullein helps with a lot of things, but you mostly dealing with the lungs. You could meditate with mullein, and mullein could say, I can be used in this other way too. It doesn't mean that mullein can't be used in that way. It just means that it's not a popularized way of using it. Oh my God, guys, forget it. But yeah, so it's not a popular way of using it. So it probably won't be found in a quick Google search, and that's okay. Okay, what you want to do is just confirm as much as possible so that you can see that the meditation is obvious. Sometimes you might already know about an herb. So what I would do is, after getting those confirmations with the herb itself that those are the uses, get some of the other uses from herbs. Many herbs that are used now for medicinal use were used for other reasons back in, say, the 1920s, the early 1800s, 1600s, 1500s, et cetera, ADBD, whatever. BCE, okay? Whenever humans use them, there are so many other ways that you can use an herb, not just the popularized versions that you can use them. If applicable, experience the plant matter with all your senses. So not all the time can you experience plant matter with all of your senses. Say, for example, you're working with the nightshade plant for a curse. You're not going to be able to eat that. Some plants you're not going to be able to smell. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, some plants you're going to have to just have it in a jar, but sit with it. And you're not going to be able to experience it with all of your senses, but you can experience it with your sight. So sit next to the plant material and say, I wish to receive your wisdom. Close your eyes and become quiet. Allow yourself to receive anything that comes up, even if there are people around you making a bunch of noise, getting into conflict. Those are also signs. Everything around you is a sign, because plants work through energy. I feel like someone needs to know this. So look, energy and consciousness, okay? So a plant can pull in energy, i.e. people, birds, places, situations, to show you what it can help you with. Say, for example, if you're hot-tempered and you experience anxiety in conflicting situations, or in situations where there's a high elevation, stressful situation, then a high stressful situation may come about either while you're doing it, or may come about in your surroundings while you're doing this. And a good example is like my teacher, who when he was lecturing about this, said that he was sitting down with this plant in the park, and he kind of settled back in, like, behind the plant, away from the path, so no one could see him. And he was meditating with the plant, and he was asking the plant, show me your wisdom. And then this couple was arguing up the trail, came and stopped right in front of him, right in front of the plant. They did not see him. And they were just arguing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he was like, plant, give me your wisdom. And the argument just kept getting louder and louder and louder. And he was like, what is going on? And it's like, I'm trying to get with this plant. But this plant is a heart-based plant. So this plant helps with resolving conflict, and it also helps with heart-related stressful things. It also helps you to come to a better understanding and not be so hot-tempered. So that is like a funny way that a plant can give you a message. So so examples of this could be, your environment, voice talking, spirit giving you, like you hearing the plant talk through your intuition, or through your medium channel, your clairaudience, or you're receiving thought forms. So you get like these large thought forms of ideas that just kind of pop up into your mind. and then situations that are pulled near into the space, like I was saying. So the thought forms, that is something that is particularly useful because the thought forms will sit in your consciousness for quite a while for you to write them down. But right after you have kind of ended the session, you have roughly about 20 to 30 minutes before the information is gone. And that's typically because the connection between you and the plant has been severed. Okay, so here are some ways that you can smell the plant, you can taste the plant as a tea, you can also rub the plant in your fingers. Sometimes, like if you have like a live plant, you can like just touch the leaves itself. I wish I just didn't put my plant back over there, but you can touch the leaves itself. You can say, for example, your plant is aromatic, like lavender. You could pick it up, the lavender, you could smell it, you could rub it between your fingers, you can smell your fingers, you can put a bulb in your mouth, you can taste it. Those are 3. Then you're going to hear from it via the 6th sense, right? Because how are you gonna hear a plant, right? Unless you're working with an actual live plant, right? You're going to have to sit in meditation to hear the plant spirit, and it's going to take a little bit sometimes for that plant spirit to come up. If you're using an actual plant, you can actually sit and you can just experience the plant, and that could be a type of hearing as well. So I hope this video was super informative. I hope that you kind of got the idea of how to sit down and meditate and plant sit, the ideaism and the mental construct that you need in order to facilitate this. And I feel like this is very similar to ideology that you would if you were trying to talk to an animal. If you're trying to work on your telepathic awareness and to talk to an animal and receive the mental thought forms back of what the animal is saying. You would do something very similar to this. The problem with being able to receive those thought forms is also releasing the idea that you are somehow superior to this animal, that you are somehow superior in any way or any way at all to this animal, that you are some type of superior being to it, not just another being coexisting with this animal. So I hope that that makes sense. I hope that, human superiority has taken a huge punch to the ego, and that you have time to kind of like sit with it, work on it, whatever. I'm sorry this video was stupid long, but you know how it is with me, y'all. I want to give y'all all the information because I don't want to have to do this video again, even though I have a whole bunch of other shit that I'm going to tell y'all about specific plants and working with their specific spirits or specific types of plants, that I am super excited to kind of dive in more about how you can use this technique. If you guys have any questions about the technique, any questions about anything I've talked about today, leave them down in the comments. Like and subscribe for more of this cool ass herbalism, what they call low magic, and some high magic information, some esoteric information, some mystical information, some metaphysical, spiritual, all that kind of shit. And no, it's not the same. And I do love my share of armchair mysticism. So I love to give you guys like a real rounded understanding of things so that when you actually go into it, you are going into it with a full understanding. So as is with every video, I love to bring you a holistic understanding of a way that you can holistically understand yourself and the world around you, which is also just the emanation of yourself, because you are the greater I am in an individualized form, experiencing itself within itself. I love you so much. I am grateful for you thriving, being, existing, and fucking killing that shit, baby. Damn. Okay, let me tell y'all something. You better keep fucking doing it, honey, and stop acting like everything has to be perfect, okay? Everything that comes into perfection is made by perfection of the imperfection within the self of being perfectly in fucking perfect. I love you. And like always, thank you for coming back to watching Live Like Low, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.